Hello, welcome. Good to see you. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. We're going to just wait a couple of minutes here while we allow folks into the space. So wonderful to see some really amazing faces here already. I'm so grateful for you all to be joining me tonight on this incredible waxing crescent moon. This is a really powerful time for us to come together and to do some divine kind of spell work, do some magical casting together as a group. And so we'll just wait a couple of minutes to let some more folks on. So good to see everyone. Okay, there's a couple more folks joining. So we're going to be kind of starting off by going over a little bit of information. I'm prepared PowerPoint, my Divine Virgo Ascendant. I had a moment today where I was like, I need a PowerPoint presentation to share information with everyone. So I'm going to be going over some information in terms of like what inspired me to do this workshop, what what led me to kind of move in this direction, and also how I've worked with both art spells and with divination and with creativity in general. And I'll talk a little bit about just like my connections to them, and we'll kind of go over a little bit of examples before we actually get into the ceremony together. So I'm definitely going to be asking folks if they want to participate both in the chat, and then we'll have moments also where people, if you want to unmute your mic, you can also kind of bring in and come and share via video and sound. But for now, if you're able to, please just mute your mic, because we're going to go through a little moment where I'm going to, as I said, share some information. I'm going to be kind of moving as soon as I feel like we have most folks in here. We're going to be switching gears to kind of go over a little bit of information about this workshop. So I'm going to start by share my screen here. All right, so we'll leave that there, and I'll see if anyone else is joining. Awesome, okay. So we're gonna get started. Thank you so much, everyone. My name is Edgar Fabian Frias. I'm sure most of you know me. I'm seeing a lot of wonderful, familiar faces here. I am so excited to be offering this ceremony tonight, to be bringing a lot of you together tonight to kind of hold space. And as we're going to talk about in a little bit, it's going to be a wonderful experience for us to be able to kind of bring some information from our own divination work and then to share this as a collective. And one thing I'm really excited to work with is the power of us all being able to hold space for one another and to offer our witnessing and our care as people share their words and their intentions. And again, I definitely I'm excited to hear from you all and to see what comes through for everybody. So to get started, I want to talk a little bit about the waxing crescent moon and why it's important to work with this energy. I'm sure some of you already maybe set some intentions or did some spell work during the new moon. The waxing crescent moon is a really powerful time to kind of really bring forward those intentions, the spells, the kind of habits, the things that we started in that new phase, and start to really try to find ways to bring them into existence, to bring them forward into the fold, into the world. And I'm gonna ask, can people mute themselves? Or let me see if I can mute everyone, just to make sure that we're able to all hear. Give me a second here. Okay, awesome. I think everyone's muted. Wonderful. Okay, so the Waxing Crescent Moon is a very magnetizing time. It is a powerful time to, as I said, work with kind of bringing in, drawing spells, drawing in things that you're wanting to bring into your life. And so I thought it'd be a really great time for us to all hold space together in that way and to really work with this magnetizing energy. And really, as you're working tonight, as you're creating, as you're divining, really think of that idea of magnetizing. You're allowing something to be in an orbit towards you. So really working with that kind of energy. I think, as people who work with magic, as people who work with energy, I think one of the biggest things for us to really think about is like our inner fire, our inner will, our inner power. Those are things that are really interconnected. So our ability to feel like we can affect change is deeply connected to our inner fire or our inner will. And so this is also, as many know, it's deeply connected to our creativity, our sexuality, our sense of power. And so these are all things that can come up when we're working with creative practice. There can definitely be a feeling of lack of power or a feeling of, maybe feeling stuck. And so for me, a big practice in my life that I've been really kind of gifted with is to start to see my practice as more collaborative. Knowing that, of course, I am a powerful conduit, information can come to me, and also that I can collaborate with different beings, with different forms of practice. For example, tonight, I have this amazing rue plant that my friend Alyssa gave me. And I'm going to be working with this when we do some divination work. I'm going to be connecting with this plant, collaborating, seeing what comes through. And so, I think actually going back to the fire, I'm going to light a little bit of fire here just to kind of cleanse the space, just as we're opening up, offering a little bit of sage to the group, sending this out to the community. So taking a moment to take a breath here. Knowing that we're starting the journey slowly to, winding into a ceremony that we're doing together. And so, one thing that's come up for me in doing this, kind of organizing this information, I've started to think about how, for me, art or creative practice and spells and divination are all collaborative portals, or they're openings that can emerge for us. And again, really wanting to stress that collaboration where we're able to really kind of be in communion with another person, another being. And so art as a medium has that power of being able to be imbued with an intention, imbued with energy, and that energy can be felt beyond time and space. And I'm going to share a little bit about that, like how I myself got connected to that. And so, one thing that I think is really powerful with these portals that get created is that there is potential energies that are imbued intentions. And again, as I said earlier, they go beyond time and space. They bring this fire energy and they cast it into a way where it actually exists beyond our bodies. And so to me, that's something that's really powerful about art. It's really powerful about art, really powerful about art practice, and also spell work and divination work in general. And so with that said, one thing I really want to stress is that really when it comes to working with art, with spell work, with energy, with divination, really it's about taking time to tap into our intuition, to tap into our body. And in the service of that, we're going to be doing a guided grounding and meditation just to connect with our bodies a little bit more. And so again, as I said, I really want people to honor whatever comes up for you in terms of the divination. And so I'm bringing forward this image of un ojo de Dios, or the eye of God. And so this comes from my people, embody or Huichol. And so this to me is a beautiful representation of spell work, of art practice, and of divination. And so these eyes of God are used as offerings. They are also used as a ceremony. So people really weave their intention into these objects. And they're also portals. They open up space and they're able to communicate something beyond time and space. And so really kind of seeing that, in some ways, these practices are ancient. These practices are bringing together magic, spell work, creative practice. These are ancient practices that in many ways, for myself as a contemporary artist, I'm really excited to explore, to connect with, to find different ways to work with them in my own practice and in my own both kind of creative practice, but also spiritual practice as well. And so I wanted to share this piece. Again, folks, if anyone has their mic on, if they could please mute it just to make sure we can all hear. So I wanted just to share this right here. This is by this artist named Edward Kienholz. This artist is from Los Angeles. And for me, this is one of the first times that I was able to, as an artist, actually feel a portal open. So I was 14 years old. I was at the Los Angeles County Museum of Art. I was taken there as a field trip, and I stood in front of this piece and just for the first time in my life had an altered state experience and had no words for it, did not really know what was happening. But I knew that something was here, something was present and being communicated through language, through nonverbal language, through in a sense, like an intention that was set before in time. So since I had this experience, it really kind of shifted my life and moved me more into creative practice because I very much was like, what is this about? I need to understand this a little bit more. And so as I've developed as an artist, I've been able to really work with divination practices in many different ways. And so I brought this piece here. This is from a project I did in 2017 called Give Us Home Spider. And this was a ceremonial project that I did around Southern California. And I was able to do ceremonies all over these different sites of environmental damage. And this whole entire project actually came to me while doing some divination work, while doing what is known as geomancy and hydromancy, which is working with water as a medium to allow information to come through an altered state. And so I have been working with my ancestors a lot and doing some divination work with them and receiving messages from them. And they sent me so much information about this project that I didn't know that I was going to be doing a couple of years later. So this is also a way that we can start to work divination into our creative practice and start to receive messages from other guides and ancestors that might want to share something with you, a project or an idea. And that's definitely one of the many ways that I work with divination. And so divination, as I've said, is very, very expansive. It is a global process that has really kind of had its shape in many different countries. Many people know it as tarot. That's one form of divination. There's also in the middle, you see tea leaf reading. And on the right is some obsidian reading or geomancy or scrying with obsidian. So that's using the obsidian as a medium. And you could also use the flame of a candle as a medium as well. So there are so many different ways to do divination. As I said, tonight I'm going to be connecting with this beautiful rue plant. And I'm also going to be pulling a couple of cards. In case you don't have any divination, I got a couple of messages from people saying that they didn't have their own tarot cards and that they would like a couple of cards pulled. So I'm going to be pulling those, but I also want to encourage you to have a moment and doing your own divination work as well. And I'll talk about the structure of the whole ceremony in a second. So after we do some divination work together, I also think it's important to do some processing of the experience. So even if you pull some cards, lots of times I think it's a good idea to journal, to draw, or to even move your body, however you process, however you allow information to move through your system. Do some of that when you do divination work. It could be a really wonderful way to actually bring more information, more understanding. And actually, I've received a lot of communication through doing writing, which is a form for myself that really works with processing. And so once you have an understanding, once some information has moved through you, you can take what you've learned and then start to translate it into an art spell. And so again, an art spell is a portal, it is an opening, it is something you are casting and you are imbuing your energy into. And this again is something that will exist beyond time and space. As people that have seen, I definitely work a lot with kind of in the morning, I do a lot of divination myself, and I start to kind of think about how I'm wanting to channel my energy and put it into an art spell that I can then share with the world and that other people get to also witness and share their energy with as well. So that's, I think, a big part of this is witnessing spells is really powerful. So holding space is magic. So being able to just be present with someone is magic. It's really magical to give your awareness, your presence to another person. And that's something that I really want to invite people for this project, for this ceremony, is for us to really cherish and honor the presence of the other people here, to really honor what they bring forward into the ceremony, and to really know that people are going to be both able to maybe produce something that is like maybe an art piece or finished piece, and also some people in the time that we have tonight might be able to do something that's more of a process or something that's emerging or emergent. And so I wanted to say that I want to honor all forms of creative expression, and to really say that you don't need to have a product at the end of this ceremony. Really, it's about starting a process. And if you have something you'd love to share, that's wonderful. Or also at the end of this, I'd love it if maybe it's something that you end up working on and it ends up emerging later on as a project or a product. Definitely feel free to share that as saying, okay, this is something that started and then it emerged into this other way. Because I definitely know art is very mutable in that way. It has a life of its own and it starts to build itself. So that's a big part of why I think it's really good to get into process and allowing process to happen. So, again, when we're working with creative practice, I think intuition is really powerful, moving our awareness down into the body. And that's why we're going to be doing some grounding, some moving the awareness down into the body. And this can really help us move through beyond language and logic and help us tap into more expansive space where we can be more collaborative, more open to messages. So with all that said, I know that's a lot of information, so I definitely want to have a little bit of space and time if people have any questions. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the structure. So right now, I guess if anyone does have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat box, because we're going to be using the chat box a lot. So definitely feel free to write anything that has come up or any questions around what we're going to be doing. So the structure that we're going to be doing is, after this, we're going to open up the ceremony. We're going to do some grounding. I'm going to pull a couple of cards, and we're going to have some space for everyone to do their own personal divination work. Again, however that shows up for you. We're going to come back together, and then we're going to share however you feel called to share through the chat box, or again, we can open it up if people want to speak. And then we're going to have, after that, some time to create. And that is going to be about 20 minutes that we're going to have to create. So really working with whatever medium or mediums you want to work with tonight. And then after that, we're going to share and witness what people have made. As I said, both in the ceremony and also afterward, if you feel called to, you can also post and share in that way as well, if it ends up emerging later for you. Okay, so with that said, I wanted to just share what my intention is, because I think it's really powerful when we are doing this type of work to set intention and to really let ourselves be clear about what we're wanting to bring in. And I also wanted to invite the group to also bring in their own intention. And so we're gonna just set an intention before we move into doing some grounding. So if you have something, please feel free to type it in the chat box. see if you can do it in a sentence or two, and I'll read some of those to bring that intention into the space as well. So for myself, my intention for tonight is that I want to create a space that is fun, create a space that is mutable and flexible and emergent, and that allows us to really tap into a flow, a playful flow. I want this to be a space of respite. I want this to, be a place where we can explore something, to open up some new portals, and to also have a moment to connect with ourselves as an individual and also as someone within community as well. So just gonna hold some space, a moment for that intention. And then I see a couple of people, there's been some intentions here shared. So my intention from Maureen is to reconnect to a deep childlike wisdom, allowing stagnant hardness to fall away. Yes. Thank you so much for that. Definitely want to connect with that childlike wisdom. I think there's something so powerful about that child magic that is, yeah, really a place, a deep resource for artists, for us to be able to tap into that. And again, it's also a deep resource for people who are working with magic. Our childlike energies are really a place of deep power. So anyone else have any intentions they want to share before we move into doing a grounding? Thank you, Este. Este says, connecting to play and softness and piercing tongue magic. Yes, love those energies together. Play, softness, piercing tongue magic. And then we have from Celeste, my intention is for all Earth's inhabitants to embrace living in harmony with Mother Nature and protecting her. Yes, thank you so much for saying that, Celeste. I wanted to mention that I'm drinking a green lime drink right now, and it has some green Tara essence that is made by my friends Sewon O and Vanessa Samp. Green Tara is a divine goddess of liberation, and she wants to really bring heaven on earth. And so it's definitely about this reconnecting, being in harmony with Mother Nature. So it's definitely also an intention. And thank you so much, Celeste, for bringing that in. Kiki says, definitely connecting in with ancestors and lineage. Yes, yes, definitely connecting in with ancestors and lineage. I'm going to be calling them in when we do this grounding ceremony. Lauren Bailey says, my intention is to connect with my creative intuition and receive its messages clearly in effort to heal inner scarcity. Thank you so much for that. I think that can be really deep medicine right now for folks. There is a lot of fear coming up around finances, around money. So to heal this inner scarcity that we're kind of in many ways brainwashed into is a really powerful intention. So thank you so much for sharing that. And Noah says, to open the creative channel for my transcestors to communicate through me. Yes, thank you so much for naming the transcestors, for naming this creative channel that we can bring into our field of energy to really tap into. So thank you so much for that. Noah, really appreciate that. Maya says, reconnect with my creative practice in a time of anxiety. Yes, yes. So I definitely feel like in times of anxiety, I like dive deep into my art. It's like I know a lot of witches like that. I feel like the moment all of this started, I started seeing a lot of witches and mystics start bringing a lot more content on. I know a lot of us see our creative practices as sanctuaries, and they are. Our creative practices are places where we can transmute, we can repurpose, we can recreate energies. So definitely, definitely reconnecting with creative practice in times of anxiety is a really powerful intention. Angela Mary Adams LaBounty says, reach for wildest love. Thank you so much, Angela Mary Magic. Really appreciate that. Feeling that so much. And Jacob, my intention is to feel secure in myself during an intense time of transition. Yes, yes, and security is so important in this time of transition. We are all in so much change right now. So much is shifting. So really thank you so much for bringing that, intention of feeling secure in this time. So I'll just wait a couple more seconds, see if there's anyone else, and then we're going to be moving into doing a clearing, a grounding, an opening. Okay. So if folks want to get comfortable, you can either close your eyes or keep them open. Again, I'm going to light some sage just to mark this as the start of the ceremony. Turning your attention inward. Taking a couple of deep breaths here. Taking a moment to connect with our hearts. Letting ourselves feel that beautiful field of energy that is emitting from our hearts in this moment, as we're all here together in this ceremony. Letting yourself feel the connection to everyone in this group as we're all holding each other here. Bringing all of those divine intentions forward, holding them in our hearts. We can imagine these being prayers that we send out. We can send them into the earth. We can send them out towards some goddesses, towards the divine. And again, taking a deep breath here. I'd like to imagine this circle that we are casting, this portal that we are opening in this ceremony, surrounded by a gorgeous garden of flowers, of fruit, of vegetables, of bumblebees and hummingbirds, and chipmunks and raccoons. Imagine anything that you feel that needs to come into this sacred circle, anything that needs to be cast into this portal to bring in protection, to bring in care. And now I want us to invite forward into this sacred circle any guides that want to be here with us, any ancestors, any transcestors, any queer ancestors, any future ancestors, bringing them all forward. May any of the beings that enter this circle be here for the highest good of all. May this circle serve our highest purpose. May this ceremony emanate beyond time and space through our bodies, through those that are connected to us. May our spells be seen and witnessed. May they be heard. May they be cherished and loved. So again, taking a deep breath here. Feeling into your body, imagining your awareness drifting down into your heart, into your hands, down, all the way down into your feet. So I want us to slowly bring our awareness back into the group, opening your eyes when you're ready. So thank you so much, everyone, for that grounding. So now I'm going to be drawing 2 cards. Again, this is only if you want some inspiration. I'm going to be working with these 2 cards again, as well as with this beautiful rue in the next minutes when we do some of our personal divination work. The cards that come forward are, I'll show them one at a time. The first one is the future. So this is all about being a visionary, casting our awareness, our astral body, moving it towards the future. You know, a lot of us are wondering what kind of a future we're moving into. And the next one that comes forward is one of my favorite cards. This is a sacred medicine person, sacred healer, the high priestess, the sacred femme, the sacred dame, the trans femme, the healer, the person with all the magical medicine, the connection to the plants and the animals, that sacred protective energy that comes forward. So these 2 together definitely speaks to this magical collective kind of nurturing transformation, this legacy, this inheritance that we're bringing forward as we're envisioning into the future. So again, these are just for you to kind of bounce off of, to play with. And again, we're going to take some time as a group to do our own individual divination work. We're going to have about 10 minutes. And also in that time, do some divination work. And also if you can, process it. If it's talking to someone or writing or moving your body, see if you can do that in those 10 minutes, and then we'll come back together as a group. Okay? And I'll give everyone a little warning as we're coming back. Just letting folks know that we have a couple of more minutes. If you are writing or doing your own divination, just take a couple more minutes to be with your process. All right, just taking a couple more seconds to write some last impressions, any downloads, anything that came forward. So I want us just to take a couple of minutes just to share, if you feel open to it, anything that came forward in these last short 10 minutes. Anything that you want to share with the group. And you could either type it in, or if you want to unmute yourself as well, I'm open to either one.
Hi, Edgar. I'll share quickly.
Thank you, Celeste.
Two cards just popped out immediately, and it's a deck I've used for many years. And so I started shuffling, and I thought, they'll pop out. And then right away, two cards came out, and the first one was the Tower. I used the African deck. So the nice thing, there's the dove in the middle. There's the five and all, but there's the dove, right?
Yes.
And then I pulled Nine of Swords, which is just, it was like, okay, I don't even have to think about either of these, because I suddenly had a lot of physical pains come up, which can happen at times. And I thought, I'm doing the ceremony anyway. So I got these, and that last one is like rest and pray. So that's all for me.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Celeste. Really appreciate that. Thank you. So I'm just going to read here. Angel Pansy says, I asked the High Priestess what they had to share with me in regards to the future. The Death card and the Fool both reversed. Very firmly I received, the future is out of your control. The song Itsy Bitsy Spider came to mind. Ooh, yes. Yes, I love that. Definitely, yeah, working with the songs, the sounds that come through for us. And Rachel Ann says, I also do the Nine of Swords. I am the witness and the author of my thoughts. Yes, that is very powerful, Rachel Ann. Thank you so much for sharing that. Anyone else that would like to share either in the microphone or here in the chat?
Hey.
Hey,
So I pulled some cards from the Common Right deck, from a deck called the Common Right. And so I pulled one card, which is the endings.
Wow.
And like it's so pretty. And then the Divine Order.
Wow.
And then Divine Order / Chaos. And then the next card, which is Abundance. So I was like,
Oh my goodness, what a journey.
I know it's all a journey. So then I just held the cards and just like sat with them to see what images came to mind. And then immediately what I saw was that I was at the edge of a cliff. And then I jumped or fell off. And then as I was falling, I realized I was falling up and the whole perception of space shifted. And then I was actually flying up to the clouds. And then I landed on a cloud where there was like just earth, just like kind of like farming earth. And there's this, and then I was like, this is it or whatever. And then so I turned around and there's this person behind me. And they're like kind of like shorter and like really wrinkly. And yeah, like you could tell that they like were in the sun. And then they're like, they stuck my hand in the soil and then pulled it out. And then when I did that, I looked at the soil and then it turned into like this rainbow dove that flew up and like
Ooh.
spiraled all around us. So
Wow. Oh my gosh, I love
yeah,
that.
I
Oh my
know.
goodness.
So I'm
Wow.
like, yeah, so that was what came to mind. I thought that was really beautiful.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much for sharing that, Este. And I'm excited to see how that manifests into a creative process for you.
I know, same.
Thank you. I'm going to read a couple more folks and then we're going to move into doing some creative work. So Kiki says, working with my own personal lineage is new to me because I just met and discovered my biological family witnessed entirely visual of a black horse, which I find majestic. However, they actually intimidate me. Then I saw two more, one white, one red. Not sure what it means yet. We'll have to do some digging. Then saw them on a hill with a powerful sunset behind. Yes, thank you so much for sharing that, Kiki. I definitely know that digging is a big part of that creative process, is kind of how you work with these symbols, with these images, with these words or these songs that come forward. And then seeing Lauren Bailey said, I pulled the Ace of Pentacles and the Magician, meditated on these two cards and felt warmth and saw a bowl filled with the cosmos. And Angela says Nine of Swords and Death as well. Wow, how powerful. Oh my goodness, that Nine of Swords is all over here. and Gina says, pull two cards, the Empress and the Novice of Wands, calling for my wild, fiery femme energy to blossom and expand. Yes, praise. Noah says, I pull the Queen and King of Cups, the Hierophant, Temperance, and Justice. Got the spark for a new drag character. Oh, how incredible, Noah. Thank you so much for sharing that. Oh my goodness, the ancestors are blessing. And Francisco says, I asked for guidance. The cards I drew were logic, growth, and universe from the Voyager. Yes, wow is right. And Maureen says, I pulled two crystal cards, Emerald Compassion and Labradorite. Take action, love in action, especially for myself right now. Wow, yes. Thank you for sharing that love in action. That's so powerful. So, um, so I think we're going to start to transition just to make sure we have enough time because I'm so excited for us to at the end share and to bring in our spells. If there's anyone else, I'm just going to wait like a few more seconds. But you know, at this moment, we're going to start to slowly transition. I'm going to start to work with some stuff. I myself, I definitely have so much written down that I'm going to be like working with. I'm going to be working on Photoshop. I'm going to start kind of collecting a few things. And then when I feel a little ready, I'm going to share my screen and start working in vivo. But obviously get into your own process. Feel free to look at the screen whenever you want to. We're going to have about 20 minutes. And again, I'll give you like a 5-minute warning when we're kind of coming up to time. Okay, but any questions or anything before we head off into our creative playtime? Okay, wonderful. So I'm so excited to see what everyone creates. Again, all mediums are excitedly accepted and honored. So definitely feel free to bring any medium that you're wanting to work with. So we will see each other in about 20 minutes. See you soon. Okay, folks, so just a couple more minutes. Taking some time to slowly start getting ready to wind down, knowing you have just a couple more minutes. So if folks can take like 2 more minutes, starting to wrap up. All right, so like 1 more minute, just letting yourself wrap up whatever process you may be in, knowing that that was a short amount of time. So definitely, it's definitely okay to still be in process. Okay, so if folks want to start returning back here to the group, coming back with your art spells. This is a part I've been really excited about. um, so I want this just to be open. We have about maybe like 20 more minutes where we get to just share some time and really relish in each other's presence and also relish in each other's wonderful art spells and really hold space for them. So I'd love to ask people if you feel called to share either with the microphone, um, or if you want to share also in the comments. It's really up to you. And I'm going to just start, just to start the circle of sharing. I'll just start sharing a little bit about what I was able to work on. So it's definitely still in process, and I will share the actual finished piece once it's done. But what came forward for me was we receive ancestral love effortlessly. This divine roux really just filled my body with this warmth, and I could just really feel some deep ancestral and transcestral love coming forward and just feeling my whole body and just realizing how little time we need sometimes to open up that channel, that conduit, and really being also inspired by thinking about the high priestess and the future and thinking of where we're heading, where we're moving into. So really wanting this spell to be an opening of hearts, of allowing people to receive this ancestral love that is surrounding us right now. So thank you so much, everyone, for witnessing this spell. I'm going to be posting this spell on my social media as well once it is finished. And I'm definitely, as I said, after we're done with this, I would love to see other people's spells on social media and also here in this group. So let's start to see if anyone is ready. I'm going to mute myself, so feel free. Actually, you know, the way we're going to do this, I actually thought I had this idea earlier. How about if you want to share, please write your name in the chat box, and then we'll go in order, and we'll each get to share. So feel free to write your name if you want to share, and then we'll go in order. And then again, also feel free to write your share in the comment box as well, if that's a way that you want to share. So thank you so much, Celeste. We'll start with you, and I'm going to mute myself.
So first, I just want to say really quickly that this ceremony is so magical. Este, you know, that name is part of my name, and then I see Kiki's name, and that's my name within my family. And when I heard the other people drawing the Nine of Swords, I just started to cry. It's like there's something so magical right here. And this afternoon, let me see, can I flip the video on here? I don't know. But this afternoon, I had to compost a bunch of roses, and I thought, no, I won't. I brought them in vases, and it's on my altar here. I don't know how to show it. Let's see. Can you guys see it? And as I put the roses there, I thought, this is my art spell for tonight. And I thought, why are you doing it now? I didn't know I was going to have crazy pain. So I just want to thank everybody for the magicness this group. And then really quickly as it ended, some words came to me I'm going to share, and they're about the ancestral love too. Otherwise I probably won't bother to share. But usually when I write, I say what wants to be written. And tonight what came out was what wants to be written, drawn, spoken, grown, eaten, held, soaked in and with, fed, praised, prayed to, seen and witnessed. All of it, please, the spirits smile and say, do it all for us. We who cannot enjoy what goes along with being in physical embodiment on earth. Do it for us. We delight in your experiences that are joyful and wait ready to comfort you when you see no light, feel no gentle warmth, and have no smiles. We love you, we care for you. You are beautiful and brave.
Thank you so much for that, Celeste. That is so beautiful. Really, really appreciate you sharing that. That altar, that flower altar is so divine, and those words are so powerful. So thank you so much. You can imagine. Definitely feel free, folks, if you want to share in your comments any reflections to Celeste, and if you want to read those, Celeste, when people leave them in the comments. So Maya, do you want to go next?
Hi, everybody. I don't really have any words right now. I just have this image that I was working on. So I'll just kind of share it.
Yes, talk about a portal. So powerful. Thank you so much, Maya, for sharing that. Yeah, so I can feel the presence of that spell. And I'm really glad that everyone else can witness what you are creating. Thank you so much. Rachel Ann, do you want to go next?
Hey everyone. So I take like existing letterpress text from and I like look for words and kind of intuitively find things. I've been doing that recently as a way of kind of finding like truths in this whole experience. I don't necessarily have been able to find those words on my own, if that makes sense. And so I made a small little found word collage, and what came from it, it said, strongest of reasons for and against pursuing either course. under ordinary circumstances, the problem may seem simple. And it just reminds me that like during this time that things are really complicated, and that like having a little bit more gentleness through this process is important, and like sort of like trusting that intuition as those decisions are being made.
Thank you so much, Rachel Ann. I really appreciate you sharing that. Definitely can really, relate to that feeling of there being a lot of complicated emotions, a lot of feelings, a lot of things just happening. So definitely being able to sit with it and radically accept or be with those things is powerful medicine. So thank you so much for sharing your spell, Rachel Ann. Really appreciate it. Kiki, do you want to go next?
Hi, everybody. Okay, so I looked up quick Celtic horse symbolism, and it turns out there's a ton of goddesses, and who knows, that's going to be a whole wormhole. But I've been really expressionist lately and feeling like getting messy and childlike. So I did an oil pastel drawing. I don't know if you can see, but that's it. My lighting is not very good, but yeah, that's it. Oh, it was I think my internet. Okay, yeah, so, and I'll probably keep going in the daylight and play around more with that.
Wow.
I'm feeling very expressionist lately.
I love that. And I love the childlike smile on your face as you show that to us. Thank you so much for sharing that. That black horse definitely came through for you. And
Yeah, it's so weird.
With that.
I've never really connected with horses, so it's definitely weird. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Kiki. Mo, do you want to share yours?
Can y'all hear me okay now? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. My mic like gets weird. So I just kind of word and paint vomited for the first like 15 minutes, just like scribbling and just kind of like trying to get through some blocks. And then that kind of just turned into this. That's all.
Wow.
And I think this is like probably a work in progress, or maybe it's done. I'm not sure.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that, Mo. That so beautiful. Oh my goodness. Really appreciate you sharing that. So powerful. Yeah. Angela, Mary Magic, and family, Divine Family, do y'all want to share?
Hi.
Hi, everyone.
Can you hear us? Do I? All right.
Hi, can you hear us? Is there sound? What does that say, guys?
They give thumbs up.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, cool. So should I go or you?
You can introduce yourself.
Okay. Hi, I'm Boone. I'm Angela's son. I kind of just made a collage of us with kind of two hummingbirds at the top, because we just had two hummingbird babies get like born and sort of grow up before our eyes in the backyard, and I thought that was really cool.
At Desert Days too, right?
Yeah, and this is us at Desert Days, where we got to experience one of Edgar's awesome workshops, and just it was an awesome experience. It was really good for us as a family too, so that's what it made me think of.
Jump right in.
That's so gorgeous, Boone. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's definitely, I've really felt the hummingbirds come in, and I was imagining that they were probably also from your house, because I know that they've been visiting and I've been holding so much sacred space with you all. So thank you so much for sharing that beautiful collage. Really appreciate it.
And I'm Jason. I'm Angela's husband and partner. And my whole thing that I came into this and it kind of resonated with you, Edgar, was the inner fire, the inner flame. And that's what I wanted to work with the fire. The art that I've typically done in the past works with like optics, with light, with found objects and repurposing. So the whole recycle reuse has been heavy in our family. And so doing that, I sort of tried to embody the fire out of these found objects, and each one about this, it can change, everything can move, everything can be placed in different areas, that it's a bunch of different things together that emanate outward. They're all different forms, different shapes and uses, and they all come together as one to form that inner fire. Candle holders, swizzle sticks, and a red lamp that you can then turn on.
Oh, wow. That fire energy.
That's awesome, baby.
Nice.
So that's the inner fire radiating outward, and that's what I'm working with right now.
Oh, definitely leave it on. It's beautiful.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's incredible.
Mine is an offering. Hello, everyone. It's beautiful to spend this Sunday together. I have a special moon-infused water from the last new moon, and I'm creating a spell for us in living that is moon-infused water, and my moon juice, which is worm juice from my mom's compost, and moon-infused water that I'm alchemizing. And then I'm using a mutual friend of Edgar's and mine, Madre Jaguar's, gifted beautiful wild flower seeds that they don't even know what they are. And this is for us. This is for this circle. This is unique to Edgar's gathering of us, Edgar's Bruhex, Edgar's genius, Edgar's spell that signaled in each one of us to gather. So these spells are encapsulating and imbuing your works, and I'm pinching them into soil from our land that we live upon, this complicated, painful, stolen land, which is being transformed now with the alchemical waters. And I will post on my Instagram stories how these babies sprout for us. Okay, this is a living spell, and you're pure magic. I love you all.
Thank you so much, Angela. That is so, so, so divine. What an offering. I cannot wait to see how this spell blooms and blossoms. What a gift you are. Thank you so much.
The worm juice. Someone said they like the crows in the background.
Cool.
Is that everything from you all? Wonderful. Thank you so much. Kirk, do you want to go next?
Sure. Hello, everyone. Let's see if I can get my camera turned around. There we go. So I've been called to work with the land a lot recently. So I'm out in a rainwater garden, and I pulled together a bunch of different objects from the land to make circles, thinking about the future and healing. Just circles came into my mind, as well as on the yellow plate is cedar. So I'm in Portland, Oregon, in the Pacific Northwest. So I was called with both cedar and lavender. Cedar being the ancient and indigenous healing plant of this land, and lavender being a recent transplant that also has healing to offer. Thank you, Edgar. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Kirk. That is so, so beautiful. Thank you for this beautiful offering. I love that we are all interconnected here in so many different parts. As some of you know, I'm in Oklahoma, so love that we're gridding this whole entire country together with all these beautiful spells. So Francisco, do you want to go next?
Hi, can you guys hear me? Yeah, okay. So I really got High Priestess when I was working with the energy and the spell, and it was very powerful. I kind of just started working with the because I collage. I'll show you guys the piece right now. I think it's complete, but I definitely got High Priestess, and I thought about the future and about the healer, and I think the main message that downloaded was we have to open up, you know, the inner gates to create this powerful future. And I don't know, I'm a little bit jittery still, but I can definitely feel this group energy. I feel like when I'm in big groups, that's what happens. Let me go ahead and show you guys, and I'll be posting later once I'm able to do it all together. So I'll flip the camera, and we have Mercury. Those are the inner gates, and then I don't know, this cloth that I bought, and just greenery. But that's what I came up with the energy that everyone brought into this circle today, and with the powerful spell.
Thank you so much, Francisco. That is so incredible. I can also relate to feeling that jittery energy from the group. There's definitely a really beautiful kind of vibration moving through all of us here. Thank you so much, everyone, for sharing. I really, really appreciate everyone bringing these spells forward. We have a couple more minutes. Let me know if anyone wants to also share, put your name down in the chat box. But I definitely see folks here really resonating with people's work, with what folks are doing. As always, when we come in ceremony, a lot of us make connections and really are kind of working with this collective consciousness here. So I think that's part of that jittery energy, is that we start to feel each other and tap into each other's spells and magic. So Este, do you want to share a little bit about your art spell?
I've been playing with, well, I feel like the main vehicle for just like channeling or expression is like movement for me. So I was just thinking about, and in the course of, like recently I started playing with like video and a little bit of poetry. So these are all kind of like little bits that, you know, that hoping to seed and see where it grows, or what it grows into. So one was like, so this is like a rough video. I don't know if anyone can see it, but well, actually, let me just do it in person. So the idea was, so here's a plant. Step into my process. So then the idea is, there's a hand. And then somehow there's soil that comes. And there's this. And so in the process of this, I imagine like some variation of words, like, so I think there's something like tierra, aire, earth, that shakes your hand and heart and hips, mesmerized in the shift, or in the way it shifts the falling upward into the rainbow feathers of the dove that rises from the breath and promise of clay red moon. So something that combines like just like, and then being able to see the soil on hand. Yeah. So something that combines all of those feelings and ideas. It's feeding, right? We're all feeding together.
Yeah.
To turn something, you know, to see where everything, what grows from everything that is falling, like what we're falling upwards towards. So, thank you.
Thank you so much, Este. I really, really loved. I agree with Celeste that your hand movements were so graceful, so magical. I love that you brought soil in and that so many people brought soil in. I definitely think that's very Waxing Crescent Moon, is to plant some seeds and work with these spells that we have. I wanted just to read Noah. They said that they downloaded the idea to embody my ancestors through my drag and imagine them as their incarnations in an ideal queer future. Praise. I cannot wait to see that. I really hope that can come into fruition, and please share it with us. And please, folks, if you want to share, please tag me, because I would love to repost and reshare so that this whole group can see, so that we can all witness each other's spells. As I said, they exist beyond time and space so that they can exist outside of this group. And I think that's it, just from looking. I don't know if there's anyone else. Before we leave, I wanted to, we're going to close this space, but before we close this space, just want to make sure if there's anyone else before we close, anyone else that wanted to say anything.
I'll share.
Okay, thank you.
Just really quickly, just a little drawing that I made. It says, I honor the journey, I honor this moment. And I'm just kind of trying to see this whole thing as part of a bigger, journey that we're all sort of sharing, and just taking things moment by moment, honoring myself during this process, whatever's coming up. And I hope you do the same. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate that, Gina. Ever, do you want to share?
Yes. Well, I found some old footage, old 16mm footage, and I was just looking through it, and I was like, Page of Cups it's coming up, and it's more about like really feed in or reconnect to your inner child, and that's been the theme a lot. So I have some footage here. I don't know if I can share screen it, if you want to see it.
Yes, please.
Okay, let me see. Well, right now it's kind of like really dicey, but I'm manipulating something right now. Tell me when you see it. You see something? You see the screen?
Yes.
All right, can you hear audio? Can you hear audio? No? Okay. Well, anyway, this is what I have so far. So this is some stuff that I shot back in 2008. Sorry, that's my dog barking. So I'm just gonna look through this right now. So this is in downtown LA. And then from the manipulation that I'm kind of like, how can I, connect with this? Like, how am I feeling, So this is what I have so far. Kind of liquefied, mix that, and then transition into a white dissolve, like it vanishes. So that's what I have so far. Well, little nervous talking about it, because I'm like, oh my God, you're looking at my work.
I love it. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Ever. What a gift to be able to come into your process a little bit and to see this amazing work. I cannot wait to see how it kind of emerges. That, yeah, definitely agree with Celeste that liquid transition is so magical.
And he disappears. There you go.
Ooh.
There you go. Let me see if I can stop the video or something. There you go.
Thank you, Ever.
No problem.
Appreciate it. I'm gonna read a couple more last wonderful comments from folks. I see here that Lauren Bailey says, I made a bowl out of the Crayola model magic stuff. I will share with you on Instagram, Edgar. I'm working by candlelight, allowing my intuition to lead the way in the dark through the efforts of kneading the clay and rolling it flat, my energy and efforts and intentions being infused into the vessel. Yes. And soil luscious loam Taurus Empress energy. Yes, Angela Mary Magic. Yes, thank you for that. Oh my gosh, this has been so incredible. Super appreciate everyone for really bringing yourselves, bringing so many creative practices and ways of doing divination. And also, I can really feel the love here in this group. So really appreciate all of you really holding space for each other. So thank you so much for being a part of this. We're gonna do a short little closing. And so if you wanna just, again, draw your attention back to yourself. We'll take a couple of deep breaths here as a group. I'm going to count to 3 and we'll take a deep breath. 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3. And one more time. 1, 2, 3. I want to thank all of you for holding space, for being a part of this collective creative ceremony. I want us to all hold our spells in our hearts and our minds. Hold them as we continue to play and to create and to commune. And as we continue to share this outside of this space, knowing that we can bring the energy of this ceremony into other moments of our lives. But for now, we are closing this ceremony. We are asking the ancestors, the guides, any divine beings that came forward to support us, to please return home. And we are asking for the blessings to fall upon all of those who came to this ceremony and to all of our divine connections. We'll take just a couple of seconds here to really let ourselves feel these blessings moving through us and then moving them out into our communities, into our connections. Taking a couple more last deep breaths here. If it feels right, you can draw a sigil, make a symbol, just do some sort of action to demarcate that you are closing this spell, that you are sealing this energy in this space. And then drawing all your energy back to your divine body, bringing it all back to yourself. Yes. So thank you so much again, everyone. Before we leave, I just do want to share, if anyone is interested, I am going to be hosting another ceremony next month through the Golden Dome, and I'm sharing my screen just to show you. So if you are interested, I'm going to be doing a performance ceremony where we're actually going to be able to do performance work, and we're going to be working with the powerful magic of the dark moon on May 20th. And it's going to be like a late evening kind of powerful dark moon energy spell work that I'm calling totally portally. So if you feel called, definitely it's on Crowdcast and it is under the Golden Dome School. Okay, so thank you so much, everyone. We will stay in touch, sending love and blessings to all of you. Excited to stay connected. Have a beautiful evening. Thank you so much.